Hello, hello. This is David, and I'm going to be speaking about wealth today, but particularly wealth as it relates to play and being playful. I really think the point of life is to be as playful as possible, have as much fun as possible, and to do that in a sustainable way where you can have fun for the rest of your life. You know, I think that's play is what brings about the quality of life. Play is what makes wealth wealthy. If you think about it, if I have a lot of money, that's good, but it's no fun if I'm not having fun with the money. The point of having money is to experience life and to find a way to enjoy life. And the way that you enjoy life is by being playful. And the way that you activate quality within your life is through demonstrating playfulness. And what is playfulness? Playfulness to me is using the imagination, it's doing spontaneous things, it's being completely uh, different than who you think you're supposed to be. It's tricking yourself, it's tricking other people. That's what play is. Now, what is sustainable play? Sustainable play is the real, I think, the goal of life. The point of life is to play, but the goal of life is to play sustainably from my perspective. And I'm going to combine like psychotherapy understanding around play with metaphysical understandings. If we think about play from a child's perspective, children know how to get up to fun. Kids know how to live life. When if I worked with so many kids, and some kids really know how to live life, and I'm very impressed by them. They have made me want to like scream and pull my hair out, but they've also given me a lot of wisdom as to how I could live my life if I wanted to. And I think a lot of adults grow up and train themselves to be all serious. But that in and of itself, to me, is just another way of being playful, to be playing serious, to be playing all serious. I just burped. So, um, okay. So, play. Playfulness, it's like unstructured. So if you look at kids, they don't need a structure to play within. They can just plop a kid anywhere and they will find like this pen really interesting. They'll find, look at all the toys I have on my shelf. Every single one of them is of interest. And a kid will look at a pen, will like pretend the pen is like uh, an airplane, and then we'll drop the pen and go to another object and we'll look at a mouse and pretend it's like an actual mouse. People will play pretend. That's what kids do. But adults do it too. We just pretend that we're not doing it. We pretend that we're adults. And I really want everyone to claim the kid inside of them and the playfulness that is already there within you. You already have a lot of fun within yourself. Your life is not meant to be boring and like unenjoyable. It's meant to be fun. And I think a lot of people who've gone through abuse, control, bullying, we are convinced that life is super serious and that we cannot play. And playfulness can only be fully expressed if you feel safe within yourself to play. So that's why a lot of people play on the inside. They imagine, they look at clouds, they look at creatures outside, and that's very enjoyable for them. But there are some people who can play with like objects and like bike everywhere and do all that type of stuff. But I'm talking to the more introverted players who are really, they play on in the internal realm. Those are the ones who I think need the most play and need the most support and help in learning how to play better because life is meant to be engaged and interacted with. And especially when it comes to mental health treatment, there's a lot of people who have gone through a lot of circumstances that have made them frozen and unable to feel that they can be playful. And that's, I think, the saddest thing. That's why people, I think, get really depressed, is because this life force for some reason has been suppressed, and you just don't feel like you can be spontaneous. You don't feel like you can go someplace and make fun happen. If you're looking at, I don't know, any object or any tree, like if you're depressed, you kind of get very convinced that life is a very serious, it's only one type of way. But if you activate this life force that brings about your playfulness, I feel like a depressed person can have fun for the first time in their life. You know, really anxious kids, if they are part of a team playing with like a parachute, they might not feel anxious for that moment that they're able to hold a part of the parachute because they've activated that life force, which has brought about their own sense of playfulness. So I'm speaking a lot, but I hope I'm delivering an interesting thing to think about and to chew on as it relates to play and the importance of play within life. Now, I'm going to bring in some metaphysics. That's what I really like. Metaphysics is when you think of something and then it happens on the outside. I'm very interested in that. I was very interested in magic when I was young. I was very interested in optical illusions. I was interested in a whole sort of things. And metaphysics is like the coolest thing. I think it's a for any type of intellectual person, metaphysics is the thing to look at. Metaphysics is all about spotting symbols and patterns in the environment which reflect thoughts that you've had, dreams you've had, imaginations you've had. And when you tap into the spiritual realm of play, you can kind of understand that everything is a play in and of itself. And the environment is playing with you and wanting you to have fun, and you're wanting the environment to play with you and have fun, so you both can enjoy a certain tango, a certain rhythm of experience that's vibrant, alive, cool. Um, Abraham Hicks, who's this like universal intelligence that's channeled by this woman, she or they speak about how life is meant to be easy, life is meant to be fun, and you're meant to get what you want. What could be better than that? Like, oh my gosh. And they also say you can be, do, and have anything that you want. Like, I want that. And I think, you know, those messages from this channeler, it registers with me as something that's so wonderful because it activates the playfulness inside of me. Are you telling me I can be, do, and have anything that I want? Are you sure? It's like, yeah, you can. Whoa, wait a second. And and then you start to think, oh my gosh, what kind of things do I want to be? Who do I want to be? What do I want to have? Yeah, when you really look at metaphysics, especially metaphysics like Abraham Hicks, even Christian Science, in the Bible, I feel like it's not often talked about how, like, the point of the Comforter, the Holy Spirit, is that you're comforted. And what happens when you feel comfortable? You play. So, like, everything is attached to play in my perspective. We just don't often focus our attention there. And I really think, especially from a Christian perspective, the kingdom of heaven that you're supposed to put your eyes on, which will then all the righteousness and goodness and abundance will be added onto if you keep your mind on the kingdom of heaven. The kingdom of heaven is this state of playfulness and being supplied at any moment and being able to go outside, buy what you want to buy, do what you want to do, spread the love around in the way you want to spread the love around, help the people, feel fulfilled because you helped a person. You know, everything's meant to be seamless, everything's meant to be smooth. And if you look at life from this angle, if you understand that the kingdom of heaven is a playful place, then I really think everything will be added onto you. And I think this is the real milk to milk out of the udder of the cow. Does that make sense? This is the thing to milk. To that's not a good analogy, but this is the thing to like zoom in on and really, spend time thinking about. And let me drink my coffee. everything's, if you look at life from kind of a clinical angle of play, it's really cool. Everyone's playing a part, everyone's trying to pretend to be a certain way. Everyone's trying to be super serious or super powerful or super rich or super poor. Everyone's, I think, really kind of putting on an act to a certain extent. You can even, when people say they play the victim, I was definitely a victim for a long time until I started playing the hero. And I love this role that I've chosen to play, the hero role. When I was in the victim role, I learned a lot of information, but victimhood doesn't lead to fun. Victimhood leads to victimhood. And, we're all victim of life to a certain extent. I know I have been in very strange, dark, and like cruel ways. Um, I've gone through stuff like that, but that's not fun. And that's not the type of life that I think is worth living, is one that is stuck in that state of victimhood. You have to go into a state of playfulness and freedom. If you look at a kid, one time I worked with these twins. They were super small. They were toddlers. They were very chunky toddlers, and they would do cartwheels at any time that they wanted to. They would do cartwheels, and they would just. I would be in the middle of trying to have a conversation with these toddlers, and they would just all of a sudden they would do a cartwheel. They just loved the experience of their body going into a cartwheel. And sometimes they would do a cartwheel into a wall or a chair and they would hurt their bodies. But then they would stand up and they would giggle and then they do another cartwheel. They didn't even register the pain that they put their body through because of the fun. It was just fun. And I think fun is a real thing that's embedded within the spirit that actually can eliminate pain if you have a way to understand it through a playful context. Does that make sense? I'm channeling something. I don't know if people can tell. But yeah, like one time, for example, I had the best day of my life. I went back home. I was gonna have a bath, and I put the bath water on, this and that, and I like put candles around. I was gonna have like a really nice experience. And the moment I got into the tub, I slipped on the porcelain and my body slammed down on this tub and I hurt my arm or something. And I remember hurting my arm so badly. And I said, my arm isn't broken, somebody else's arm is broken. My arm isn't broken, somebody else's arm is broken. And immediately when I started saying that, the pain went away. Then the next day, I saw like 4, 5 people with casts on their arms. It was kind of like, uh-oh. And I realized I lived right beside a fracture clinic. But the point of that is like, rather than being like, oh my gosh, ow, 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 I went into this very playful mode and I said, it's not my arm that has pain, somebody else's arm has pain, not mine. And there's this movie, it's called Nope. I think it's by Jordan Peele. Let me see. Um, and Nope is directed by Jordan Peele. And it's just funny because the character is in a car and there's this alien that comes over the car, and the character in the car is like, nope, nope. He was just being funny about it. And everyone in the movie theater laughed because he was denying the fact that there was something scary up there. He was like, nope, nope. So to deny pain, but to do so in a playful way, it actually eliminates the pain if you think about it from a metaphysical perspective. Mm, I hope my anecdotes have been helpful. Like, I love thinking about the kids and how they do cartwheels whenever they want to, and then they slam their bodies into a wall. And I look at people I worked in homelessness, like people who are outside, and I find people who are experiencing homelessness, I find them to be the most fun people I've ever met in my life. Like they are living the life, they are outside. A lot of them enjoy their time just roaming and having fun in that way. And a lot of them don't care about the elements of the weather or stuff like that. A lot of them are very clever, always wanting money. There's a lot of playfulness that's expressed within people who say experience homelessness. Now, of course, if you look at it from a public health point of view, we have to get rid of homelessness, but homelessness is fun if you think about it. Like, oh my gosh, I don't have to pay rent. That's fun to me. Like, I kind of want to. And there was a period of time where I was almost homeless, and I thought it was the most fun I've ever had in my life. I can see why people stay there. Now, I just want to circle back to sustainable play because the point of life is to play, but the goal of life is to sustainably play. Because play is not play unless it's fun and unless it continues on forever and ever and ever. And if you think about play from an interpersonal perspective, for example, with cheating, if you have a partner who cheated on you, they have a need for play that wasn't being satiated within the current partnership. So they had to go outside of the partnership and play with another person. And they might have played through having sex, through having an emotional affair, through stuff like that. And what I would say to the person who cheated, I would say, you're one of the most playful people I've ever met. And also, it's time to learn how to play more sustainably because that isn't fun. It's not fun to cheat on someone and then that someone is then hurt. That's not fun. What's fun is to find a partner and to build up your ability to be creative, to find a play partner who can maybe enact those forbidden fantasies that you might be searching for within an affair. Like have a play partner who can play pretend, who can do different, like who can role play and do different stuff like that. If you look at adolescence and development, kids are always role playing. Like the little kids with the babies, they're like, "Oh my gosh, I'm the parent to this child." Stuffed animals, we have make up imaginary characters. That's how you should have an affair. You know what I'm saying? You should have an affair by using your imagination. You shouldn't have an affair by actually committing, like, ugh, that's not fun. And everyone would agree it's not fun. But what's fun is to find a play partner who can play with you and who can, there's a lot of people with like um disturbances related to their personalities, related to relationships. You just got to find the right play partner, someone who can play with you, have fun, explore the world with you, adventure with you, be clever with you, be sneaky with you, be mysterious with you. There are people out there who are your match. What do they say in the songs? Who will match your freak? There are people out there who want to like be that type of playful. You just gotta find them. But you need to play sustainably. How do you play sustainably? I have the best answer to that. And it's from a metaphysical point of view. Okay, David, I want to play, but I want to play forever and ever and ever, and I want to have a lot of fun, and I don't want it to ever end, and I don't want to hurt anyone. How do I play sustainably? This is the answer. You got to follow the fruits of the Spirit. If you look into the Bible, or if you look into A Course in Miracles, they have the characteristics of God's teachers. There are these qualities that if you learn how to imbibe, express, steep yourself in like a tea bag, you can actually play sustainably for the rest of your life, and you will learn what life is all about. Love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. If you learn how to get these qualities embedded within you, you can have the most, you can play forever and ever and ever. If you are kind, if you are patient, if you are good, if you are gentle, if you have self-control, you can literally play and have the best life possible. In A Course in Miracles, it talks about the characteristics of God's teachers, and these characteristics include joy, honesty, trust, tolerance, gentleness, defenselessness, generosity, patience, faithfulness, and open-mindedness. These are all qualities, characteristics that if you live by them, You will not be cheating on someone. You will not be harming someone. If you are patient, joy, if you are tolerant, if you are open-minded, if you are trusting, if you are good, if you are peaceful, you're going to want to bring peace to other people. You're going to want to bring joy. You're going to want to bring patience to other people. Because in order to have these qualities, you have to share them with other people. So I just encourage everyone to look at the fruits of the Spirit in the Bible and the characteristics of God's teachers in A Course in Miracles. And if you learn how to imbibe those qualities, imbibe, what is the word imbibe? I love that word. To imbibe, to drink, to absorb, to assimilate. If you know how to absorb these qualities, I absorb defenselessness. Such a nerdy thing to say. I absorb tolerance. I absorb honesty. If you know how to truly be gentle and trusting, you can literally live a life of fun forever. You will not be harming nobody. You will not be making mistakes because you're spreading the right things around. You're not spreading sexually transmitted stuff. You're spreading loyalty. You're spreading care. You're spreading thoughtfulness, consideration. Like, this is what it's all about. And if you look at kids, the true kids who are having the most fun are trusting, honesty, tolerant. Sorry, they're trusting, honest, tolerant, gentle, joyous, patient, generous. If you look at kids who are really having fun, they will share their toy with someone. The kids who aren't having fun are the ones who are destroying the place, being impulsive, being angry. That's no fun. Is that really fun? That's no fun. You might think it's fun, but the moment you destroy someone or someone else, it won't feel fun. You'll have to go to jail. That's not fun. What's fun? What's fun is being good, is being loving, is being kind, is being peaceful, it's being harmless. That's really how you have the most fun in life. And so I just want everyone to imbibe these qualities, to absorb them, to steep yourself in these qualities like a tea, the tea bag inside of tea. Just like let the aroma of being good and gentle and faithful and patient, let that expand in all directions, to all extents, to all depths, to every corner, and you will just have the most fun life possible. And I don't know, I just have so much compassion for people who play and make bad mistakes. I think everyone is just learning how to play and play sustainably. I've just given the key is to really meditate on these qualities and to live them out um, through actions, thoughts, art. There's unlimited ways to play sustainably when you're focusing on these qualities. And I have so much compassion for people who don't know nothing about what I just said, make mistakes, hurt people. I have so much compassion for people who are criminal, who see themselves as criminals and who see themselves as bad. Because you're not bad, you just don't know how to play sustainably. And I think we need to encourage people, and you can play in a jail cell as much, you can have so much more fun in a jail cell than in real life when you're roaming. Like sometimes I wish I was in a jail cell because I could have so much fun with each bar. Like, you know what I'm saying? And in the Bible, I think it was Saint John, he said, like, I've learned how to be content in every single circumstance. And he was in the jail at the time. And I think what he learned, the thing that he learned is how to be fun, how to be playful, how to really acknowledge the comforting presence of the Holy Spirit, quote unquote. You know, I like to look at this in a very practical way. Metaphysics for me is something that it's inclusive of everyone. It doesn't matter the mistake you've made. It's time to learn how to live and play sustainably so you can have quality in your life. You can have quality in your life. Doesn't matter the worst mistake you've ever made. Doesn't matter if you've been perfect for your entire life. You deserve more quality. and you can gain more quality. And what you have to do is you have to be loving, joyful, peaceful, patient, kind, good, faithful, gentle. You have to be generous. You have to be tolerant. You have to be open-minded. You have to be defenseless. You can't have your guard up. You have to stop thinking everything's a threat. Kids, when they're playing, nothing is ever scary or dangerous to them. They're just playing and having fun. So, like, adopt that mentality. Really bind yourself to these wonderful fruits of the spirit, and you can live a life of such quality and joy. Yeah, that's really what the good news is of the gospel, like the Christian gospel, which I grew up on. And that's what I'm here to kind of share around. But I'm not all about having an opinion on the matter. If you look at, like, I might contradict myself tomorrow, and that's what's so fun about life. You don't have to be right. You have to have fun, and you have to want peace and joy and gentleness to be there. So, yeah, like I'm not a stickler to this, what I'm saying. I will likely contradict myself, but I'm just here to spread good news. And the good news to me is that life is meant to be fun, it's meant to be playful, and it's meant to feel easy. And you're meant to feel comforted, and you're meant to feel that you are a very good person and not anything other than that. So, and when you're truly playing, you know that you're good. So, I don't know. This is just the key to life for me. I hope that more people kind of like jump on board with what I'm saying. I don't know. We'll see. Well, thanks for watching. I don't know if has been good or if it's been bad, but I've had fun sharing. Okay, bye bye.